Welcome to The Sober Gay, a podcast about being sober in the LGBT community and beyond. I'm your host, Dillan Gay, and yes, that is my last name. Hi, Aubrey!
Hello, Dylan.
Ooh, God, you're getting so good at singing.
It's all the vocal training here right before.
So wet. How are you?
I am great. I'm alive. I'm here. I'm
Queer.
queer most days.
Ooh, which day are you not?
I don't know.
Is it hump day?
I don't know. I'm always queer, actually.
And I'm always humping. Okay, so today I want to start off by reading a little email we got.
Yes.
Okay, so
I always love these.
yeah, me too. We got this in May. Dear the Sober Gay Squad, my name is Jude. I'm a 28-year-old trans guy back in early sobriety. First off, I want to thank you for this podcast. It's a tool that I reach for when I can't just hang out alone with my thoughts. I've been in and out of recovery for the past 2 years. I currently have 51 days sober at the time that I write this. After my AA meeting tonight, I popped on the Wild Thoughts episode of the podcast, and wow, thank you for your vulnerability. I can relate to a lot of what was said. After the podcast, I watched the Euphoria episode that was talked about and bawled my eyes out. When I was in college, I was a creative writing major with my focus in poetry. When the character Allie said, "You got to believe in the poetry," it took me back to the power I felt before alcohol ripped my life apart. Thank you for sending that episode into my life. It feels impossible to feel like I'm allowed to forgive myself sometimes, especially at this point in my early sobriety. But after hearing the podcast and that episode of Euphoria, I feel like it's within my means, as long as I keep pushing myself to not pick up the first drink.
Mm-hmm.
I so badly want to just write out my whole story about being transgender in recovery. I'll just say this. I have faced a lot of discrimination because of being trans. A couple of times I was barred from entry to rehab because I'm trans. But if I may ask a favor, if you could relay this message to all of your transgender listeners from a fellow trans person, you deserve recovery. You are worthy of recovery. You are worthy of being part of this world. Don't let bigoted jagoffs keep you from getting help.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, no more word vomit. Thanks again, and I hope you guys are groovy. Peace, Jude. And yeah, that was an amazing letter and a message that I definitely wanted to get out.
Yeah, that is amazing. Stay strong out there, and I'm sorry to hear about the rehab experience. And
that is disgusting.
that is not okay, and that is something that we need to change because every person is deserving of care from addiction.
Yes, every person is deserving of care and the respect to have their correct pronouns, their correct name, everything be used for them during their most vulnerable time of need. When a human being needs care and help and respect and to feel like a whole person and to get that confidence, I can't imagine not being like welcomed in your own skin and trying to accept yourself at the same time. What the hell? Do better, hospital systems. Anyone that would dare turn someone away or disrespect someone. How dare you? Death to all of them.
No, I love that. Seriously, that is something that you should never have to experience in the realm of having an addiction or having any mental health crisis.
Yeah.
Like, just because you are trans, they should not look at you any other way. You are who you are. You are a human being. You are a person that is in need of this. And I'm glad that you sent us that message. So thank you. I really hope that can empower other people out there as well to know that it's okay to keep fighting. It's okay to keep going because you can make it. You can do it.
Yeah, and you'll get sober, and everything in your life and your journey so far has been placed and designed to help you navigate this world and be your essential self.
Mm,
So just know that all these obstacles that you've had to go through and all these friggin' stupid ass hoops you've had to jump through, just know that it's because you're strong and you're chosen
mhm,
pretty much to have this path in life because you are strong and your influence as an impact will change everything.
mhm,
A queer people, trans people that we're sober, and this is revolutionary and we need
mhm,
to keep lifting each other up as much as we can to, you know, just make this the new norm for everything. It doesn't have to be so weird and so, odd,
mhm.
different.
I agree. I very much agree. I love that.
Yeah. So, jumping right into today's topic, we we're we're going to talk about our inner child.
Whoo!
I've finished reading this book recently,
Mm,
called The Secret of the Immortal Self, because I've been on this journey of healing my inner child because there was a person inside of me that wasn't beaten down by my parents, that wasn't shaped by society, that wasn't, told not to do this, not to act that way, not to say this. There was a person, a young Dylan that's still inside of me that is there and just has the pure love for everyone around them. I was
mm,
such a loving child. Oh my God. I was so cute. I would sing to everyone. I was I sang. I was so flamboyant.
mm,
I was just a I was just so fun to be around. I could tell. I just knew all the adults were like, "Oh, he's such an old soul. He's so fun." Something happened in my teenage years and all that shifted, and it was just like you can only be beat down by people so much
mhm,
that your shine starts to dull for a little bit.
mhm,
Um, in my teenage years, that shine was definitely dulled, and that definitely morphed into my party years, and the drinking got out of control as it does. And now that I'm sober, I'm healing young Dylan and I'm getting in touch with him.
mhm,
I did this exercise where I don't know if we've done this on the show or talked about it, but just sit with yourself and picture that young 6, 7 year old version of yourself in like a field, just walking slowly towards you and just sit and like as they get closer, just see all their features, all their details of the younger you and little you, and just open your arms and just kind of let them come into you as they get closer to embrace you and just let them know that like we're still together and we're still here doing this together and all your ideas, don't worry. I haven't forgot about all that. We're not going to give up on all those dreams because that little you, that
mm,
pure you is still in there
mm,
and your intentions are true. All of these clouded things or judgments that we've learned to know and learn to say, all these pre-judgmental phrases we have in our head about people and the world around us were placed there in our brain by another source that was not that pure inner child inside of us that knew all along what we should be doing and what was truly right inside. Whew.
Woo!
Does Are you following?
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
um what do you have to say? I'm sorry. I just said go. I don't know.
So,
I just like yeah, I
you
went
just
off.
had you just had your preaching moment. I loved
Yeah.
it. You got a lot out there.
Yeah, I did get a lot out.
I feel like for me, I mean, my inner child is something that I guess maybe I feel like I've always had, even through my alcohol, like
Mm.
alcoholism, like being drunk all the time. It was always there for me, and
Yeah.
I always had that attachment, like, to my inner child. I guess I never thought about it like that, but it was just kind of like, this
You're
is where I
yeah,
feel
yeah,
safe. This is where I know that, like, everything's gonna be okay because I know that, like, this is who I am
yeah,
really. And I was kind of able to attach myself to that,
yeah,
knowing like, okay, you are gonna get through this. Like, this is just hopefully a moment in time, and it was for
yeah.
me.
Yeah, the inner child's always there. It's always there. It's always gonna be there. And I think I definitely have had moments during my drinking career
Mm.
that I knew it was my inner child. It was when I was the drunkest that I could be the freest,
Mhm.
and that was me getting that inner child out, like being able to do whatever I wanted to and be the life of the party, and that was kinda like what I was getting at when I was, like, little, and I would be dancing and singing around and, like, my mom would take me to uh, grandparents' diner or whatever, and
Mhm.
they would sit me up, and I would just sing to all the customers, and like that was just cute. Like it's just
Mhm.
getting back to that. I would do that when I was drinking, so it's like now doing all those fun things and getting all those things back is
It's great not doing it drunk. I
yeah.
get that because I guess even for me as someone who has always been attached to nature, always been out in nature, always kind of loved it. Like that's where
Mm,
I find my true like inner child because I love to play. I still love to play in the dirt and love to just
yes.
get down and
Mm,
dirty and like I want to do the dangerous stuff. I want to see like I see
yeah.
something like my 10-year-old me's like, "You can jump that. You can do it. You
Yeah.
won't break your leg." Like,
Yeah.
no. And it's like, yeah, I wanna do that. I wanna do that kind of stuff. It brings me back to just a happy place. And it brings me back to a place of just enjoyment,
Yeah.
for what I had missed for 10 years of my life.
Yeah.
Ew, that's so weird to say, but yeah, 10 years of being drunk, wasted.
Yeah.
I've been able to get that back and been able to connect with that child, I guess, not so hammered.
Yeah. Well, it's like, I've traveled a lot this year, and I went to play like, a lot of lakes and stuff like that, and I'm
Mhm.
I'm not saying I traveled to, like, crazy cool places, but they were
You
pretty
did go to some pretty cool places. Don't
yeah.
you downplay that.
But, some of the most fun I had was, going back to New Jersey and going to a lake, that's by my where I used to grow up,
Mhm.
and just going there and experiencing the lake, and I was so just I don't know, just hands on. I got to like dip my feet in and just be there and present. And I'm just so present now. And like all these things I used to overlook when I was there. I didn't even realize that we had so many hills and mountains where I'm from in New Jersey
Mhm.
that we could see. And it's just like I had lost all of that. Like I it was like I was seeing it with fresh eyes, like I'm like, wow, we're surrounded by hills. This is beautiful. We're at a lake and there's so much nature here. And like
Mhm.
I took all it all for granted because I was just drunk so much of that?
I get that being home for me in Detroit a
Mm.
few weeks ago or a month, I guess now a couple months ago. Ew. Time's going by really fast. I just like being able to, like, sit there and, like, take in everything that was there, like, for me, I had never and maybe part of it is being in Colorado now and seeing how small everything is, but I never realized how big the trees are and how green everything is out there and how,
Yeah.
like, gorgeous it is just to, like, sit down and you're just like, there's water here. There is
Yeah.
you can feel it, and I did take that for granted because it was something that
Mhm.
I always kind of just it was there, and so just, like, being able to re-see it and with not being drunk and, like, going by some old places that I used to frequent all the time and, like, seeing it, I was like, "Oh, this is what this looks like. Like, this
Mm.
is how this is actually like." It was really cool.
Yeah, it's like when you go to places when you were really young and you just feel so big now
Mhm,
because it's just like everything looks so tiny now.
mhm. Oh, yeah. I honestly, it's such a great connection point for me, and I think we all do need that moment to reconnect with just our old selves.
Yes. Yes, because they're like I said earlier, they're always there. The inner child is always gonna be inside of you. It's that little voice that's you always know what's right inside of you. And, they say right and wrong is subjective and by perspective, that
Mhm,
inside what is your right and what is your wrong.
mhm.
And as long as and that's what people say, be true to yourself because you know that truth for yourself and for around you inside of you.
You know
That's
what's gonna
there.
make you or break you. You know those little irks that can either turn you into a monster or turn you into
Yeah.
someone that is whole, as you
Yes.
said.
Yes. And learning to transcend all those lower vibrations, all those lower emotions, those quick anger and blah blah blah,
Mhm.
and I'm just gonna drink this away, and you know, moving past all those and growing past all those, you really do see the life with a new set of eyes.
Mhm.
You're like, okay, well, you see people struggling, and you're like, why are they so frustrated with something so simple,
I honestly have been thinking this so much the past few days. Like, I have
right?
been seeing it so much and, like, not to, like, call anyone out, but there's, like, those
Yeah,
times where you see people and they're like, it's that thought process, like, "Oh, I'm so angry. I need a drink
yeah,
right now."
yeah,
And you're like, "What's that gonna fix right now?" Like,
yeah,
how is that gonna fix? And I'm able to see that from
yeah,
this perspective, but I know from their perspective, they're like, "Holy crap, like, I have no other way of handling this right now except for
yeah,
this drink."
and it's the simplest thing.
Mhm.
Like, when you really boil it down, usually the issue is something nothing, it's mundane.
Mhm.
Even I think it's so silly now watching people get upset in traffic, like when I take Ubers and things like that, and they're like, "Oh, come on, this guy's not gonna go. Why isn't this guy driving?" Blah, blah. I'm like, "What's the rush?
I
What's the problem? Why you're in a vehicle that's transporting your body way faster than yo ass can ever run.
Mhm.
Be so grateful.
Mhm.
You're not using the energy of a horse. Hopefully you're in an electric car. If you're not, what do you expect? Where fucking capitalism
Right.
did this to
Well,
us."
and we're I was talking about that the other day. Us as at least in America here, we hate lines. We cannot stand to wait for anything. And
Yes.
it's like
How dare I be inconvenienced to stand here for 3 minutes?
right? And it's like any other like place that I went to, people it's not like lines are welcomed, but it's not like it's a terrible thing. Like
Yes.
you think about when you're at the grocery store and a line opens up, like a new line opens up, everyone's like, Why are you not or why am I not the first one in line? I've been waiting
Right.
this whole line." It's like just let these people go. It will make the thing go faster.
Yeah, that's the idea too of, like, the perspective of we're looking at it is, like, instead of being like, "Oh, I don't have to wait in this line," why don't you be like, "Oh, I could take this opportunity to talk to the person I'm with,
Hmm.
to d" you know, that's just when life hands you some time to yourself, why be like, "Oh, they're making me wait?"
Hmm.
No. And then you'll that's the same people that go home and be like, "I don't have time for anything."
Right? Like this red light is gonna inconvenience me right now. I have to wait 1 minute
Yeah.
for it to change. Oh my god. There's actually a really good video, and I wish I could remember the name of it. It's something like We Are Water or something like
Mm.
that. I
Oh,
forget.
yeah, 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 yeah,
And it
yeah.
it talks about this. It just talks about how the mundane tasks in life, like how we kind of get stuck in this monotonous cycle of like going to work, getting stuck in
Mm,
traffic, having to go home, waiting in line to go do this, and like
mm,
instead of looking at life as like a I am in this position right now. It's like, how can I make this better? As you said,
yeah,
like while I'm in line, I can talk to someone, I can
mm,
make someone's life better. You don't know what's going on with the person in front of you right now. Like that person in front of you in line might have just had a coworker die or a family member die, and they're just going through this whole life situation.
mm,
And you don't necessarily understand that because you're looking through the perspective of I'm waiting.
mhm,
And it's like, "Stop it.
yeah,
No. You don't know what anyone else is going through. Let life just happen. It's okay."
mhm.
Because it will end. We all make it through 24 hours. We do. We wake up, we go to sleep. We wake up, we go to sleep. It
We wake up, we go
happens.
to sleep. That's the only thing that's really, like, true, that and
Yeah.
gravity.
We wake up, we go to sleep unless, you can't
Mhm.
whatever, but that is what we do. So, like, it will come. You will end up going to sleep. You will make it home, and it's
Yes.
okay.
It's okay. Everything's okay. That's another thing. Everything is okay. Like, when we stress out over little things like, I can't believe that they just cut me off or, not even driving, even in like the grocery store, people get so upset. And I
Mhm.
understand it's a lot of sensations going on in the grocery store. It's a lot of stimulation. But when you just look at everything for what it is, everything's funny, honestly. Like capitalism is hilarious.
Right,
Like,
though?
people getting angry, road rage, hilarious. Watching humans yell at each other or like watching humans interact with each other and being so afraid of each other, hilarious. Like I was leaving the grocery store the other day. There
Mm.
was a woman in the way, blocking the way. I said, "Excuse me, I'm just gonna squeeze right past you." And she's like, "Oh my god, sorry, sorry, let me just move this." And I'm like, "Girl, calm
I'm
down."
moving.
All I said was, "I'm just gonna squeeze by you." I wasn't like, "Move!" Like, I was like, "Excuse me, Shug." Like,
I won't lie, I was kinda like that the other day, though, and these people were probably scared of me, but their dog was in the middle of the bike path, and I was trying to come on through, and they saw me. They were spray painting some
that's a little different. That's a risk.
right, and I was like, "Excuse me, your dog's" I was like, "Excuse me," and they, like, looked at me, and I was like, "I don't wanna kill your dog."
Yeah. Well,
And
that's different because that was like that's not someone inconveniencing. That's you about to like die over hitting a dog.
I just felt I feel like I was getting a little angry, so I get it.
Yeah.
I do it too. I get that mundane, like,
Ugh, it's just oh yeah, trust me, been there most of my life. That's just kind of like what I've been reframing lately. And now that I'm in these new pair of eyes,
mhm,
it's just so funny the things that I used to get so worked up over. Little
mhm.
things even in my house that I would get annoyed at. In my own house, I'm like, why is this here? And why did I put that there? And like, I'm like, what does it matter?
It's hilarious because I do the same thing, and when you were gone, I would come over here, and I was like, "Your place is so organized. Why does not my place not look like this?" And all of this stuff, and I'm, like, judging myself from your place. I'm
Mm,
like, "I don't have to do that because my place is honestly, like" I go there and I look at it, and I'm like, "It's great.
it's
I put it the
great.
way that I wanted it
Yeah.
to be, and
You're like,
there's a
it's
reason
my
for
place.
this."
Yeah.
Yeah. So I get it, like, I get I get scared of where I'm putting things or, like, annoyed of where I'm putting things. I'm like, "I shouldn't do that. I did it
Hmm.
here for a reason."
And it's like I said earlier, it's all about those things that we've always known, like what's pure inside of us, and we've just been shaped and molded by the people around us, by our parents, or by society, and different outside sources have been influencing our inner child
Mhm.
since since then. So we've just molded into these creatures that aren't even ourself. That's purely what we stand for on the inside.
Mm.
And owning those things back, taking them back, and it's just so refreshing.
What do you think your inner child wants the most from you?
My inner child wants from me is my happiness, because I've just always been searching for that thing to make me happy, or that thing, and it's always been there. I've never just opened my eyes enough to appreciate it, that I've always been a happy person, but I've always been like, what what drug can I take? What
Mhm.
alcohol, like, because I've tried so many drugs.
I get it.
It's not just the alcohol. Like, like, we were just talking about this the other day. Like, there was this one time, and it probably like 2014, 2015. I was on Xanax
Mm.
heavy. I was on Xanax that my days felt like 30 minutes at a
Mm,
time.
I
And it was to a point, I had woken up one day and looked out, and I'm like, "I fucked up my car." And I didn't even realize it. The day before, I had went to a friend's house, and it was one of those call boxes that you go up to and have to put a code in, and a
mhm.
gate will open for you to enter their parking lot. I went up to the call box, put in the code. It wasn't opening. I call my friend. Hey, well, your gate's not opening. He's like, bro, you're at the wrong gate. Come to the next road. So I go, okay, I'll be there in a minute. So I go to just circle around the call box, because there's this little tiny opening, maybe big enough for like a smart car to
Mhm.
fit comfortably through, that I try to scrape through. And I just scraped that cement pole
Mm.
all down my car. And what did I do? I was like, "Oh my god, I just scraped my car." I drove, I went to my friend's house. I didn't even tell my friend what just happened, because it wasn't even a big deal to me. Drove home that night at probably like 3 a.m., all fucked up. Drove home. Next morning, I wake up in that, pure fog of maybe a little
Mhm.
sober person in there somewhere. You know how you're coming out that
Mhm.
hungover, and I'm like, did I hit some like cement pole and like fuck up my car that I just got like 2 years ago? Wait a damn minute.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, walked outside. I didn't even care. I didn't care. There was just nothing. So, moral of the story: don't do Xanax
Ooh,
in excess.
I
Like,
get that.
yeah.
I get that for sure. Yeah, no more. I cried a lot on Xanax
You
too.
cried?
Oh,
I didn't even have.
yeah.
I couldn't even feel an emotion on Xanax.
I would be drunk and then I would just snort some like 3 or 4 pills at a time.
Yeah.
Whoo! I did not do good.
Yeah.
I did not do good. So,
I used to take it to make work go by fast, and then I'm thinking like, what did I look like at work? Like,
Great.
I know. I was probably like,
You were fabulous, Dylan. I bet you walked in and you're like,
I know.
"Hey."
I just imagine me working on like because I was a bartender, obviously. I was probably like working on like the making the drinks for the team, and then probably I just probably had like 35 service order tickets. I'm just like, yeah, let me just go make this Miller Lite.
Ah.
Yeah. Oh, look. Oh, okay. Oh, a shot. Oh, okay. I can
That
make this.
that one's easy.
Oh, yeah. Let me just put this in there. Ooh, you know what? You know what? I need a snack. Let me put this down. I'll be right back.
But for real
I come back,
though.
the service printer's like, like so long, just printing out more tickets for you.
Managers, I need some help.
Oh, wait. I am the manager. I was at that time. Yeah, I was the one running the ship. So I was probably just like, yeah, it's fine.
Mhm.
And then I did all the numbers for the books at night. Oh God. If anyone's listening that used to like do any of the paperwork, just don't sue me, please. I'm sure it's all good.
It's been like at least 20 years.
20? Girl. Well, I think that brings us to the end of today's episode.
Oh.
Thank you for healing my inner child.
Oh, thank you for healing my inner child.
Aubrey, when are you going to heal my inner hole?
I don't. Ooh,
Just kidding. For all the fanfics out there, it's not gonna happen. We're like brothers.
Yeah, sorry. Well, I'm taken.
Yeah, and
So,
this is like my best friend. So anyway,
you want to heal my inner hole?
yeah. Yeah, you're like, I'm taken, but we didn't say if we're open or closed. No, I'm just kidding. Where can people
Love
find us?
you all.
Where can people find us online?
They can find us at thesobergay.com.
TheSoberGay.com. And where can they find us on Instagram?
If they want to go to the Sober Gay Podcast.
The Sober Gay Podcast.
Podcast.
Until next time.
Stay sober,
Sober girl.
girl. Ooh, opera ending.